Today we're taking a look at an e-bike from Actbest. It's the Triker, and if you can't tell from the name, it's a tricycle. We're going to unbox it and assemble it in this video. We'll test ride and review it in a separate video. Let's get into it. Go ahead and get this Triker unboxed. Okay, let's see what came in the box. Pull out some of the styrofoam. Let's go ahead and cut this end of the box, and then maybe we can just slide the bike right out. I'm gonna do that because this side's already coming apart anyways. Not much to cut here. Really careful because the tire is right there. Went through and cleaned up everything off the floor and have everything nice and neat. Let's get started. This rack was stacked nice and neatly next to the bike. Cover for the back rack, we'll just throw it in here for now. We'll start losing some of these zip ties. Get this tire out of here. You want to make sure you're just clipping them zip ties. You don't want to cut any wires by accident. I don't see any name on the tires, but it looks like it has a real smooth street thread on them. 160 millimeter rotors, rear fenders. Oh, I like that gray. Actbest. Looks like a stem. Shimano thumb shifter, horn, display, hydraulic brakes. I think it'll be a little bit easier if I unfold the bike. Got a couple zip ties hiding down inside here. I like the fenders are painted the color of the bike. That's nice. Battery's gonna go here. Looks like we have an integrated tail light. We'll see if it's a brake light too. We'll go ahead and unpack the basket as well. I'm guessing this is the battery because it's heavy. See what we have in our accessories box. Pedals left and right. Allen wrenches, multi-tool, instruction book. Looks like some reflectors front and back, some hardware, potentially even extra hardware in there. Zip ties, some brackets, and a 3-ended Allen wrench. I'm guessing this is going to be our battery charger with cord, which it is. For sure that's our battery. It's gonna be a heavy one too. 75% probably. There's also a couple of keys. You make sure you don't want to misplace those. Normally they're attached to the handlebars. And look at this seat. That's a nice seat right there. So it looks like we even have a liner for inside the basket. This is everything that came in the box. First thing we're going to do is adjust our fork to the correct direction. Right now, the way it comes to you, it's backwards. So we want to turn it so that that brake caliper is to the inside. So we're going to go ahead and just lift that up and turn it the correct way, just like that. The next thing we'll do is make sure our handlebars aren't all tangled up. You want to make sure that this Shimano thumb shifter is on the right-hand side and your display is over on the left-hand side. And we'll just kind of lay them down for now. We're going to take our foldable stem and unlatch it and slide the handlebars right down the tube here, and it can really only go in one way. You can see the flat part there, and they're going to line up just like this, and slide them in, latch it closed. The next thing we're going to do is pick up our handlebars. Make sure you're careful of your light, and we're going to slide them right in position just like this and unlatch them. On the other side here, there's a little red ball. You're going to lift up on it, and we're going to go ahead and drop our handlebars. This is so we can tighten this down in the correct position so it doesn't lift out. We're going to go ahead and tighten that down. Nice and tight. We don't want that coming out. Now we can go ahead and lift this up and get our handlebars out of our way. Perfect. You want to make sure that your handlebars are straight to the stem and the fork. Let's go ahead and put on the front tire. I'm just going to go ahead and remove the hardware completely from the front tire. They'll just make the assembly that much easier. So we have our safety washer, and then our washer and our nut. Same order on the other side. Nut, washer, and safety washer in that order. We want to go ahead and pull this red spacer out. Now that we pull that spacer out, we don't want to press down on these front brakes because we don't want those pistons to come together. Let's go ahead and drop our tire on. Because I'm doing this by myself, it's a little bit tougher, but I'll try to make it easy to see. So what I'm trying to do is I'm lining up that rotor in between those brake pads and making sure that I drop the bike on the front forks. So we're lining up that rotor inside those brake pads and resting the fork on the axle just like that. Now we'll go ahead and reinstall our hardware. First put on our safety washer, and you want to make sure it drops right into that hole there. Our washer and our nut. Tighten it down by hand, and we'll do the same on the other side. Safety washer, washer, and nut. For now we'll use our supplied wrench here. Tighten that down, both sides. Make it nice and snug, just like that. Simple as that. Front tire assembled. Installing our front fender and light. You want to make sure that when you're putting your front fender on, the shorter part is up at the top, and it's going to come right around the back here just like that. And then our light is going to get placed on first. So we're going to go light, fender, and screw it down. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Take our Phillips head screwdriver and unscrew the screw and washer. We'll go ahead and drop it right through our fender for now. We're going to put our light up here first, then slide our fender in. Probably be easier just to get it started by hand at first. Get a couple turns on it. Perfect. So we have our light, then our fender, just like that. And we'll go ahead and tighten that down. Make sure that you slide your fender up so it's not dragging on that tire, and then go ahead and tighten it down. There's no fender arms on this, so you want to make sure that it's adjusted correctly so it doesn't bounce around on you. Make it nice and snug just like that. And because there's no fender arms on it, you can kind of maneuver it to the position that you want. Just like that. Perfect. Let's assemble the fenders and the back rack. All right, this looks like a really cool design for putting the fenders on the bike, having it attached to the back rack, but there is some pre-assembly here. So you're gonna have 4 brackets. 2 of them are gonna have this adjustable slot in it, and 2 will not. So take note of that. The other thing we wanna note is in the basket, you're gonna have a shorter distance from this hole to the outside edge versus this hole to the outside edge. Keep that in mind. There's gonna be different brackets going on different ends. So we'll go ahead and attach our brackets. And for each side, we'll need 1 of each. I'll go ahead and put it up on its side here. Might make it a little easier for us to work on it. Okay, now what we're gonna do is take the bag of screws, washers, and nuts that we have here. And we're gonna need 4 for each side. So I'll go ahead and pull 4 out and just drop them right here for now. And we'll also need 4 nuts. Now don't forget, we have this hole here which has a shorter distance to the outside of the rack, and we have this hole which has a longer distance to the outside of the rack. So we're going to put the correct bracket in the correct area. So this is the bracket here, is going to the side that has the shorter distance. So you can see the hole here with the short distance, and that's where this bracket goes. So we'll drop it right on here. Grab our first nut, hold it underneath here. First thing I'm gonna do is just get them on there. I'm not gonna tighten them all down, just to get everything started here. The bracket that has this adjustability is gonna go down here near the hole that has a longer distance. Drop our screws down here and into the hole. And we're gonna go ahead and tighten them down by hand. And you can see that that's going to have the ability to slide it up or down and adjust. We'll go ahead and do the other side. So far I've been able to use all the tools that came with the bike. So we went through and made sure that these brackets are nice and loose so we can attach our fenders just like that. So probably the most difficult part about this build is going to be actually putting the fenders on. And I do like the fact that the fender attaches to the basket, because it's really just going to be a very secured fender, and you don't have fender arms or anything like that to contend with. So I like this design. We'll see how it plays out when I ride it. So now that we have that loose enough, we can line our holes up, drop our screws in here as well. You can tighten everything up afterward. Let's go ahead and get this all tightened up. Drop a nut underneath it. Kind of get everything in position and then lay it on top of the bike to see how everything lines up before we tighten anything down. Let's go ahead and get the fender on the other side. And we'll leave them on really loose so that we can line it up on the bike and see how it fits. So let's see how this assembly is going to line up. Take our basket and fenders, and that's perfect. We'll go ahead and start tightening them all down. So you just want to go through and make sure you tightened all these down and that they're all nice and snug. Just like that. And that's the assembly of the back basket. So let's go ahead and put our pedals on. Remember, there's a left and a right pedal. You don't want to cross thread them. You can see this is clearly marked R and R, and also on the end if any of your stickers fell off. So go ahead and get that started here. I always like to turn the pedal on by hand first. If it goes on smoothly, you know you're not cross threading it. Really simple. And just want to make sure that they're nice and snug. Let's go ahead and do the other side. Go ahead and get this pedal started as well by hand. And make it nice and snug, just like that. Before we put on the seat, let's go ahead and slide our battery into position. Just like that. Take our key and we'll lock it. Now the battery won't pull out. Last but not least, let's take that big old cushy seat with that suspension and drop it right into place and latch it closed. Just like that. Have some covers for your lug nuts, both sides. We also have a liner that does go to the inside of the basket here. Kind of stick it right in here and overlap it off the sides. And that makes it so when you're traveling, nothing falls through the basket. That's going to wrap this one up for the assembly video of the Tricycle by Actbest. Remember to check over every nut, bolt, and screw. Even if it wasn't part of the assembly today, you want to make sure that you're riding safe. And if you're interested in one of these bikes, there'll be links in the description. Like always, ride safe, have fun, see ya!